what is a database? What is a database? A database is an organized, if you look at the word, organized collection of structured information or data typically stored electronically in a computer system. So does this make sense to you? Would you everyone have any question on this? It's a kind of self-explanatory answer, but I just want everyone to understand. Does this make sense?
Mhm.
Is an organized collection of structured information of data. So what it means is storing the information in a structured way is a database. Now that's a database. Now let's go back, and when we talk about SQL, yesterday I do some diagram, and we talked about what is a SQL and what is the database. So database is storing information, but to store database, there are multiple databases in the market. Like it's coding, like we have Java, .NET, PHP, Python. There's so many programming languages, and it has its own syntax. It has its own uh, um, what do you call it, application interface. It has like Eclipse uses for Java. There could be .NET has its what do you call that, Windows servers. I forgot the name. Window. They have its own IDE, means the integrated development environment or the tool to write the code, right? Visual Studio, sorry. .NET has Visual Studio. That's why they have different systems, different ways that how can we write the code, and different IDEs to support those. Similarly, that's what is database. Database is a broad term. When you talk about database is all databases is a very basic or broad term, which means all those informations, how the information is stored is in a database. That is what they call it. When I started in the 3-tier architect, it could be anything. So what are the different types of database? One is SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle DB. If you look at this, these are the some of the examples. There are many more than this. And DB2, they call it for mainframe system. So there are many more database systems. But if you understand, there are like three major, there are many different types of database systems or database what do you call that, databases types. And when we talked about SQL, what is a SQL? SQL is a programming language which which write a query or questions or like information, which we query the information to get the information out from this database systems. So what is that is an SQL. So SQL, what do you mean by SQL? Let me see if they have any meaning of SQL. They say anything here? Maybe here they said. Let's see. SQL is structured. Something is the
Query language, structural query language, I think.
standard, something like that's what I think. SQL meaning. Okay. Structured query language. So means it is a query language querying the database is means SQL means a structured query language. Standard programming language that is used to manage relational database and perform operations on the data. So when it's about SQL, it is a programming language or way of standard query language where helps us to retrieve the information from the database table, not database table. Database is a broad, so within the database there could be hundreds of tables. So example I'll give you, database example. Okay, let me see images. There could be something. Yeah, let's just take this simple example. I don't know, hopefully this is simple. Okay, so here is the information where you know this information is in the database. Okay, so what they have done is, now I want to know the all the employees of a organization. So see, this is an example of an organization. What are the, and then this has the different tables within it. Now what is a table? Like for a basic understanding, just understand table is in this form, like Excel. It's Excel where you have columns and when you have rows. So what is a table? Basic table, like whenever you use in Excel or Word document, right? That is what we see. Table is this table, right? This is a table. If you look at this, which has columns and rows, is Excel is a table, right? All format. So what is it? Data tables means when we talk about database has the tables within it. So those are called tables. So and how many tables are there in this database system? For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables. And why do we create so many tables is to so that it's easier to retrieve the information and sometimes disintegrate one information so that we are not limited to one table. So what happens sometimes we don't want to heavy load the information within one table. Otherwise, what will happen is if you make Excel with 1,000 columns, 1,000 rows, and 1,000 information, then it doesn't make sense. Right? It's hard to retrieve the information, and all you if you say 1,000 rows, 1,000 columns, thousand then you only need to know the email of one person. But now what happens is when you query the database or when you look for the information, you have to go and filter out thousands of data for one information. Say example, I want to know the uh, first name of this person. Then for this first person I can get this table. Now I want to know the salary of this person, then I have to look into, I don't need first person and salary, I don't need any other information. So what happens is I don't want to put everything in one table, make it very big and messy to read and organize. So what they do is if they create a multiple tables and organize the tables in such a way that it's faster to retrieve the information, easier to store the information. So if you look here, so what it has done is, if you look at this, maybe this is a simple one. Let's see, they have yeah, I can take this one. Okay. So in this example tables, there are six tables, right? Three, four, six tables. And the first one table is the employee name is the cell table name. Salaries is the table name. Title is the table name. Manager is the table name. Department is the table name. Department employee is the table name. So what it has done is even for the let me see, person table was the easiest one. Let me see. No, this is another one. But I'll take this one only for example. Okay. So what it has done is now employees have, if you, what are the information stored in the employees table is employee number, birth date, first name, last name, gender, and height. That's all is stored in the employee table. Now, if you go to salary table, what are the information to employee number, salary of that employee, and if you see this table and that table, there's one item that is common: employee number int, employee number int. See this, and salary in, from date to date. That's all the salary. And if you go to other table, titles, from employee table titles, if you see the employee number in int, it's the same number, same employee number, and then you see title of the employee, when it started, when it to date, when it ended. Another one is department manager, department number character. But since now, if you look at what is the communication between the department number and the employee number integer, you see same information provided here. Similarly for department number, in this one and this one, we don't have the employee number. Here is the department number, this is the department number. So if you want to know the department, only department's information are stored here. And this is a list of departments. Like what this is doing is, this is now, it's somewhat related to department manager, but if you know, look at this, this has only department naming convention. It doesn't have anything other than, and only connection between this table, employee table, is through department is here, connected to department environment, and then from department you have employee, in this table you have employee number int, and here is employee number int, and department employee something information. So let's, so what I'm trying to say is, in each table you have a relation through one of the column. Okay, if you see all this table, they have some relation, right? Did you see relation between all the table? There is some relation. If you want to go to this department, somewhere relation between this table and this table, you see that from here there's employee, employee to has department, department to employee. So you see the relation between them, right? Each table has some relation among each other. So what is that called is it called, since this is has some relation among them, it is called relational database. So why is this what I'm saying? MySQL is a widely used relational database. So what I mean by relation is they have the relation among themselves, some relation. So like, if you go to नेपालमा पूर्वतिर जानुभयो भने कसै न कसैले कसैलाई चिनेको सबैले हुन्छ कि त्यो पूर्वमा अब त्यो अझ कम्युनिटी भन्नु भने बाहुन क्षेत्रको कम्युनिटीमा जानुभयो भने, अझ बाहुनको कम्युनिटीमा जानु भने पूर्वमा, त्यो पूर्वमा कसै न कसैको झापातिर नहुने मान्छे कोही हुँदैन होइन। जस्तै म विराटनगर भयो भने झापामा मान्छे कोही न कोही हुन्छ हुन्छ, झापामा त कोही न मान्छेले कसलाई चिनेकै हुन्छ। अनि त्यो हुँदाखेरि काहीँ न काहीँबाट कोही न कोही मान्छे चाहिँ कसैले कसैलाई चिनेकै हुन्छ क्या। कमन चाहिँ कमन फ्रेन्ड नभए पनि कमन चिनेको मान्छे एकदम कमन हुन्छ क्या। त्यो भनेको मतलब के भने डाइरेक्टली नचिने पनि मैले कसै हजुरहरूलाई कसरी चिने भन्दा थ्रु अब पढाउन आउनुभयो, सिटिकेमा पढ्न आउनुभयो, सिटिके थ्रु म तपाईँहरूलाई चिने भनेपछि मेरो रिलेसन सिटिकेसँग छ, तपाईँहरूको रिलेसन सिटिकेसँग छ, अनि हाम्रो रिलेसन चाहिँ डाइरेक्टली नभए पनि थ्रु सिटिके भयो नि त। अनि एउटा रिलेसन थ्रु चाहिँ एउटा बाटो च्यानल हुन्छ, त्यही भएर चाहिँ रिलेसन हुन्छ के एकअर्कासँग अनि चिनिन्छ भनौँ न एकजना चिन्छ द्याट्स कल्ड ए रिलेसनल डेटाबेस that is why and MySQL is a relational database management system. Again, it says it's not database, it's a management system. That's what is a widely used database system. Okay, any questions till now? Okay, and it says start learning MySQL free. There is an option where if you click here, what will happen is it will load to another page. Oh no, it's not this one. Sorry, I was talking about something. Okay, get your own SQL server here. Click on this, see what you can do, and there is an option for free coding, not coding now. What is this? This is my learning. No, 1 second. No. Okay. What is say? Create SQL server. Get started now. Just start it and see what you get here. If you can start SQL server and see what you can do. If you can already get it for free, let's start this one. Otherwise, what you can do is go to the Google, the MySQL server, free MySQL server, download and set up, and then you'll be able to download and get the SQL server. Try doing that on your own. Let's see what you can do. If you have any issues later downloading the SQL server, starting the SQL server, I will help you. Okay. So try starting the downloading and starting using the MySQL server. That is one of the things that will be assignment for you guys on top of whatever project you are working on. So you can start from there. So what is SQL Server? Why SQL Server? MySQL Server is a free and open source. And for basic use, SQL Server, MySQL Server is a free and you can use. MySQL is ideal for both small and large applications. It is saying it is used for all this information. Okay. Mm, now you can just try on your own. Okay, if you want to learn on your own. But if you don't want to do, at least you have this SQL anyway. It's free, right? You can go and look into the this get yourself and then try it yourself and you can run the queries and stuff. So when I talked about tables, right, there are the different tables that is present in the database. Okay, MySQL, they what they did, it is kind of example of how the SQL, it will be a little different how the SQL servers are stored. But I will what I'm trying to say is if you go here and when I talked about tables, right, what are the tables means? These are the table names. So within this database, MySQL database, this my W3C supports, these are the tables that's stored here. And these are the, if you look at the customer table, categories table, employee table, they may or may not be relational. Okay, I'm not sure if they are related or not. But what I know is there are the different kinds of orders and order details will be related. See, order ID is here, right? And order details would be, order ID should be somewhere 10248. See this 10248. It's same. We have some relation. Some okay, there are some relation among them, I would say. There's some relation among them. And customer has 90, means you can see customer ID, customer table will have something 90, right? See 90? Is it 90? Yeah, it is 90. See? So you have it is a relational database then. Okay, it is correct then. So this all the tables are relational database table, and it will show you what are the customers, employees, order, products, shipments, supplier. So if you look at the example, if you, I think there is already 1 second. Is this the one they are using? 1 second, and now, oh, yeah, MySQL sample database. Okay, this is the one that MySQL has. Okay, so MySQL has this table. So if you go to MySQL, these are the tables that MySQL this W3C school has. I believe this is the one. Customer. If you look at customer, invoice is also there. Let me see. Invoice. Oh, they don't have invoice. Well, it is similar then. I mean, maybe invoice. They're saying orders here. So it is. This is what the kind of similar. One second. Why is it saying W3C? 1 second. Let me Google it. W3C school. Uh, what is this one? Is this the one or what is? W3C school sample database and images. Let me see. customer, shipper, employees, order ID. I think this is the one. Shippers is there. Let me see. Uh, yeah, shippers there. Okay, so this is the one. So not this one. My bad. Okay, this the one. So if you look at these tables, if you want to know what are these tables, what are these columns, or what are the columns in the table name, column name, what are the what are this is table name and the column name. So what if you look at there, it says PK. So when you see the relation, right, there are two terms that we need to remember. One is primary key, another is the foreign key. It's called primary key, and you have to remember this. Okay, this is one of the versus foreign key. Okay, this is the best concept for the all this relational database. How they are connected through each other. I showed you that employee ID right earlier. In this example, you see customer ID, shipper, they're all primary key, and somehow they are related to, or they're integrated in some way. The other last example I showed you. That is through what is the primary key is a unique identifier of each record in the table. So another thing you need to do is each record should be a unique. Okay. In table, you cannot have duplicate records. Then there will have some difference between them. If even you can have duplicate, but there will be some difference. You cannot have a duplicate record in a table. A primary key is a unique identifier for each record. So for example, in this record, if you see customer ID is a unique number, right? So unique ID. This unique ID will assign you a unique number. This is a roll number kind of thing in school class. We have right in school. Roll number one is a when you say in school, right? Whenever we don't call person by name, we say roll number one, roll number two, roll number three. And what happens is that you assign a specific ID for a person. A person is not, you don't call by the number, we call by the roll number. And then we say yes, sir, present, or whatever, right? That is the primary key. In person's name, all the information is the person data detail. So that's what we do in the school, right? Roll number one, roll number two, roll number three. We call and people start to say yes, present, or yes or no. That is how we do it. Similarly, in the table, that is what a roll number or ID is the unique identifier of that table that helps to identify the person or the so example here say customer through advice. So that is a primary key. So a primary key is a unique identifier for each record in a table. A foreign key is established relationship between the table by referencing the primary key to another table. So when I give you the another example, right? One second, I'll show you SQL database example, right? I want to go the first image I showed because that's what I started. This is the one I started. Yes, this is the one I saw. So if you employee ID, no, not this. This wasn't the one I started. This is the one. Yeah, this one I did. So if you look at the employee ID, right? Employee number, employee ID. There is some relation between them. If you see employee ID here directly, here is also employee ID. Employee ID, here is also employee ID. But here, if you look at here, there is employee ID and there is a department number. Department number is the primary key. This is the foreign key. What does that means is this employee number and department number are related by the, if you want to, this table is related to this table and this table is related to this table, right? Both the tables. How are they related is, it is related from employee to employee here and from department to department, but it doesn't go employee. It doesn't have employee here, right? In this department table. It is through the department number and department number. So for this table, this is primary key. This is the foreign key. Means this is the key that identifies the foreign key or the key that helps to identify the relationship between these two tables. Okay, so I know
Yeah, sir, can you explain that again, please? Primary and foreign.
so primary key, when I say it's a unique ID, now I think I'll give example of unique ID, right? Roll number. This is a roll
Okay.
number, correct? Now that roll number is, instead of having all this person information, you can link from department, like you could be teaching math department, right? So this is your, they say this is a department table and your information would be your roll number, say Netraji, your roll number is one.
Mm.
Roll number one, it will pass input here number as roll number one and you will say department number here, not department, okay? You put department number one. Department number one is math department, and there will be department table will have multiple. Department one would be math, two would be science, three would be health, or whatever, right? There will be 10 tables. So how are the relations between them is employee here, employee number, you have employee number one, and department number 1. So those are the information that is stored, and how this connection between them is, your employment is, you connect through roll number from here to here, and this from your department to department you connect through this department. So for this table, this is the primary key, this is the foreign key. No, sorry, not both are primary key, my bad. Foreign key means the what are the other table key that is associated with. This is the primary key for this table, and this is foreign key for this table. But if you go to this table, this is primary key. So के हो भने let me express by Nepali. So
Okay.
let me go foreign. A foreign key established a relationship between the table by referencing the primary key of another table. So if you look at this one, a foreign key establishes a relationship between tables by referencing the primary key of another. So के गरेको भने फरेन की भनेको चाहिँ कस्तो हो भने मेरो टेबलमा त हजुरको इन्फर्मेसन नहोला, तर त्यो इन्फर्मेसन लिन चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ अर्को कीबाट युज गरेपछि के हुन्छ भने, अब जस्तो एक्जाम्पल यही हेरौँ है, जस्तै अब एउटा एक्जाम्पल यसले प्राइमेरी सेकेन्डरी यहाँ बुझाएकै रहेछ होइन, यसो गरौँ न। जस्तै अब हजुरले यो टेबलको लागि चाहिँ मैले प्राइमेरी की भनेको मेरो यो टेबलको प्राइमेरी की स्टुडेन्ट आइडी भयो होइन, अनि इनरोलमेन्ट र क्लाइन्ट आइडी चाहिँ मेरो टेबललाई फरेन की भयो क्या, किनभने यो चाहिँ अब रिलेसनसिप चाहिँ अर्को टेबलसँग कसरी भयो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ मेरो लागि त फरेन कीसँग गऱ्यो नि त रिलेसनसिप भनेर चाहिँ क्लास आइडी चाहिँ यो स्टुडेन्ट आइडी चाहिँ फरेन की भयो क्या यो टेबललाई। अब फरेन की भने चाहिँ कन्सेप्ट अलिकति यो चाहिँ के छ भने, प्राइमेरी की त बुझ्नुभयो नि सबैले,
प्राइमेरी की चाहिँ अनि युनिक हुनुपर्छ कि कस्तो?
युनिक हुनुपर्छ। अब रोल नम्बर दुईटा त भएन नि त क्लासमा, त हजुर रोल नम्बर 1 भने मैले पनि उठाएँ, हजुर उठाएँ त बिग्रिएन
दुईजना हुनु भएन,
क्लासमा
रोल
रोल
नम्बर
नम्बर 1
एउटै
भन्दा रोल नम्बर क्लास, मैले त स्टुडेन्ट त्यही भएर स्कुलको क्लास भनेको रोल नम्बर 1 भन्नुभयो भने हजुरले दुईजना त रोल नम्बर 1 हुँदैन नि क्लासमा।
हुन्छ।
त्यही त्यही हो प्राइमेरी की भनेको, त्यो रोल युनिक हुनु पर्यो, स्टुडेन्ट आइडी भनेको त्यो युनिक रोल नम्बर हो क्या, त्यो चाहिँ युनिक हुनु पर्यो क्या। अनि यो पनि युनिक हुन्छ फरेन की पनि होइन, भनेको किनकि अब यो स्टुडेन्ट र आइडी चाहिँ फरक के भने यो टेबलमा डिफाइन गर्नुपर्छ क्या, त्यो प्राइमेरी की हो फरेन की पनि कहिले डिफाइन गर्यो भने चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने कहाँबाट कसरी रिलेसनसिप छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ बुझ्नु पर्नलाई चाहिँ त्यो सजिलो हुन्छ क्या, रिलेसन देखाउनु पर्छ क्या टेबल टेबल बिचमा। अनि यो चाहिँ प्राइमेरी की भयो स्टुडेन्ट आइडी भने यहाँ चाहिँ फरेन की भयो क्या यसको लागि। अनि फेरि यो टेबललाई फेरि यो प्राइमेरी पनि हुनसक्छ है, फेरि त्यो चाहिँ फेरि कस्तो हो भने दुईटा टेबलको रिलेसनसिपमा चाहिँ फरेन की हुन्छ, आफ्नै टेबलको इन्डिपेन्डेन्ट रूपमा हेऱ्यो भने चाहिँ सबै प्राइमेरी की हुन्छ, एउटा मात्रै प्राइमेरी की हुन्छ क्या प्राय इन जेनरल। जस्तै मैले भने अब यहाँ स्टुडेन्ट आइडी हेर्नुभयो होइन, अब स्टुडेन्ट आइडीको के हुनसक्छ भने क्लास आइडी हेर्नुभयो, क्लास आइडी युनिक पनि हुनसक्छ नहुन पनि सक्छ नि त होइन। जस्तै अब यो स्टुडेन्टले के गर्छ नि यहाँ अमेरिका के गर्न मिल्छ भने माइनर पनि गर्न मिल्छ क्या ब्याचलर पढ्दाखेरि, हजुरले म्याथमा मेजर माइनर इन कम्प्युटर इन्जिनियरिङ पनि गर्न मिल्छ क्या कम्प्युटर साइन्स भनेपछि हजुरको यो एउटा इन्फर्मेसन एउटा टेबलमा यो अब क्लासहरू भनेको त अब यो कम्प्युटर साइन्स भयो म्याथ भयो डिफ्रेन्ट डिफ्रेन्ट भयो नि त यो त होइन, यो टेबलको इन्फर्मेसन दुईटा टेबल इन्फर्मेसन हुने भयो क्या त्यसो भए त्यो टेबलमा, किनभने एउटा त उसको म्याथको लागि हो एउटा साइन्सको लागि, किनकि उसको लागि त यो अर्को एक्स्ट्रा टेबल कलम छैन नि त, भने चाहिँ एउटै दुईटा रो हुने भयो क्या यसको लागि चाहिँ, बुझ्नुभयो नि। त्यो भए चाहिँ के भयो भने यो चाहिँ अब एउटै युनिक त भएन, तर यसको लागि चाहिँ युनिक चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि स्टुडेन्ट आइडी चाहिँ युनिक हुन्छ क्या, क्लास आइडी उसको लागि मल्टिपल हुन्छ भने युनिक चाहिँ एउटा मात्रै हुन्छ क्या। जस्तै अब एक्सेलमा अब हजुरको पक्ने यसलाई के भन्छ भने ड्राइभ डट यता खोल्नुपर्छ पक्ने एकछिन, स्क्रिन सेयर कति नआटे, यो एकछिन है। अब त हजुरले अब मलाई लाग्छ यो टेबल है, टेबल चाहिँ यस्तो छ टेबल एउटा है, यो टेबलमा के छ भने अर्को एक्जाम्पल हेरौँ न कहाँ पक्ने, ल यहाँ हेरौँ स्टुडेन्ट नेम होइन, स्टुडेन्ट नेम सिम्पल, स्टुडेन्ट आइडी सरी स्टुडेन्ट आइडी र नेपालको लागि रोल नम्बरै भन्दा पनि हुन्छ हेर्नु न, अनि क्लास भयो होइन। अब यस्तो हुँदाखेरि उसको यो इनरोलमेन्ट टेबल है, यो चाहिँ यो टेबलको नाम, ल यसको लागि यो टेबलको नाम भने सिटको नाम बनाइदियो नि त इनरोलमेन्ट भन्थ्यो, इनरोलमेन्ट टेबल है यो चाहिँ। अब यसरी बेग्ला बेग्ला गर्न पनि मिल्छ है यसरी, यहाँ यसो गर्नु भने अर्को स्टुडेन्ट भयो टेबल, यो बेग्ला बेग्लै भनौँ न रिलेसनसिप देखाउनलाई मैले देखाएको खोजेको। स्टुडेन्ट आइडी भयो होइन, क्लास भन्छ त्यसपछि क्लास आइडी। अनि त्यसपछि यो टेबलमा प्रिडिफाइन्ड हुन्छ क्या कलमहरू पछि एड गर्न भनेको डिफ्रेन्ट तरिकाले एड हुन्छ, इन जेनरल एड गर्दैन। अनि इनरोलमेन्ट के भन्छ नि, अब क्लासको आइडी भयो, अनि इनरोलमेन्ट आइडी चाहिँ अब यो इनरोलमेन्ट आइडी भनेको यसको लागि अब फाइनेन्सिङलाई
डेट
चाहिने होला,
जस्तो
यो के गर्न चाहिन्छ नि त हजुर भनौँ न। अनि त्यसपछि अब यति भएपछि इनरोलमेन्ट आइडी तिनवटा मात्रै इन्फर्मेसन स्टोर गर्छ अरे यो टेबलले है, इनरोलमेन्ट टेबलले। हामी इनरोलमेन्ट टेबलमा छौँ, स्टुडेन्ट आइडी 1 राखेँ मैले होइन, क्लास आइडी चाहिँ म्याथको लागि 1 छ अरे होइन। अनि इनरोलमेन्ट आइडी चाहिँ हजुरको यसमा अब भनेको यसलाई युनिक आइडी हुन्छ या के हुन्छ थाहा छैन, यसलाई 1 दियो ल 2 दिउँ नि त, इनरोलमेन्ट आइडी दिउँ भनेपछि एउटा आइडी भयो एउटा होइन। त्यस्तै अब स्टुडेन्टमा जानुभयो भने अब अर्को यो के हुन्छ भने यो क्लास आइडी भन्ने अर्को बनाउनु भयो भने क्लास आइडी हुन्छ भने क्लासेस भन्यो होइन, क्लासेस टेबल बनाइदिउँ। क्लासेस टेबलमा के हुन्छ भने क्लास आइडी त्यसपछि नेम, क्लास नेम, डिपार्टमेन्ट नेम भनौँ ल, डिपार्टमेन्ट नेम ल। यसरी हामीले बनायौँ, एउटा टेबल छ अरे भनौँ होइन, यसो इन्फर्मेसन यसो गर्दाखेरि क्लास आइडी 1 भन्यो, क्लास नेम भनेको हामीले म्याथ भन्यो होइन, म्याथ भन्यो। अनि डिपार्टमेन्ट नेम चाहिँ साइन्स एन्ड म्याथ भन्यो भनौँ न, एउटा डिपार्टमेन्ट त एउटै हुँदैन नि त, साइन्स एन्ड म्याथ भन्यो होइन, यसरी भन्यो। अर्को क्लास नेम 2 बनायौँ, यसमा फेरि के भन्यो भने फिजिक्स भन्यो एक्जाम्पल, फिजिक्सको बेग्लै हुन्छ क्लास नेम। अनि तर अब यहाँ हुन्छ भने के भने यो पनि साइन्स एन्ड म्याथमै पऱ्यो फिजिक्स भनेपछि होइन। अब अर्को थर्डमा गरौँ भने चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने यसमा गरौँ अब म्यानेजमेन्टको के अरे कमर्स गरौँ भनौँ, बिए गरौँ, बिए बिजनेस एनालिस्ट के भन्छ बिए भन्छ होइन, नेपालमा के भन्छ भनौँ ल। यसको लागि चाहिँ के हो भने कमर्स डिपार्टमेन्ट एक्जाम्पल, कमर्स ल कमर्स डिपार्टमेन्ट भयो। यसरी हजुरले क्लास नाम यो डिफ्रेन्ट हुँदाखेरि त इनरोलमेन्टमा यो क्लासको यसरी इन्फर्मेसन स्टोर छ भनेपछि स्टुडेन्ट आइडी यो टेबलमा इन्फर्मेसन के छ, स्टुडेन्ट आइडी, क्लास आइडी, इनरोलमेन्ट आइडी भने चाहिँ अब यसको टेबलको लागि मात्रै भयो यो इनरोलमेन्ट। तपाईँको फेरि क्लास आइडी 1 छ, मैले माइनर पनि गरेँ अरे होइन, मलाई माइनर पनि गर्छ मेरो 2 हुन्छ, इनरोलमेन्ट आइडी के हुन्छ भने 3 हुन्छ। अब यसको लागि युनिक हुनुपर्छ क्या इन्डोर आइडीहरू पनि, कुन चाहिँ अब के छ यसको टेबलको मलाई थाहा भएछ, युनिक हुनुपर्छ भनेपछि यो 1 जुन स्टुडेन्ट आइडी 1 लिनुभयो हजुरले, अब यहाँ स्टुडेन्ट टेबलमा 1 भनेर स्टुडेन्ट भयो भने स्टुडेन्ट आइडी, स्टुडेन्ट नेम, फर्स्ट नेम भनौँ न, नेम भनौँ, एड्रेस भनौँ ल, अहिलेलाई एड्रेस भनौँ न। स्टुडेन्ट आइडी 1 छ अरे, 1 भने स्टुडेन्ट नेम भनेको नेत्रजी हुन्छ अरे, अनि एड्रेस भनेको अब डालस भनौँ ल, टेक्सास भनौँ ल एक्जाम्पल। अब नेटवर्क आइडी 2 छ अरे, त्यसमा चाहिँ हुन्छ सुस्मिताजी हुनुहुन्छ अरे, उहाँको चाहिँ अब कोपेल भन्नुभयो, कोपेल आइडी टेक्सास, अहिले यो भनौँ ल केटाको ल भनेपछि अब इनरोलमेन्ट टेबलमा इन्फर्मेसन कसरी स्टोर हुन्छ, स्टुडेन्ट आइडी 1, क्लास आइडी 1 भनेर यो 1, यो क्लास आइडी 1, अनि यो चाहिँ अब यो इनरोलमेन्ट टेबलको आइडी भयो होइन, इनरोलमेन्ट टेबल यसरी इन्फर्मेसन स्टोर हुन्छ क्या। यो भनेको मतलब के भने अब यो रिलेसन हेर्नु, यो क्लास स्टुडेन्टसँग रिलेसनसिप देख्नु पनि हजुरले सबैसँग एकअर्कासँग रिलेसनसिप छ नि त तिनटैको। अनि यो भए चाहिँ के भने प्राइमेरी की चाहिँ कुन हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि यो चाहिँ प्राइमेरी की हो क्या। अब इनरोलमेन्ट टेबलको लागि प्राइमेरी की के हो भन्दाखेरि 2 चाहिँ यसको लागि प्राइमेरी की भयो, किनकि यो इनरोलमेन्ट टेबलको आफ्नो युनिक आइडी चाहियो नि त आइडेन्टिफाई गर्नलाई, इनरोलमेन्ट आइडीको यो युनिक टेबल भयो। यसको फरेन की के भन्दाखेरि क्लास स्टुडेन्ट आइडी र क्लास आइडी चाहिँ यसको लागि फरेन की भयो, किनकि उसको त यो
ए
प्राइमेरी की
ल
होइन।
ल यस्तो भनेर बुझ्दा नि हुने रहेछ। त्यसो भए फरेन भनेको चाहिँ अब फरेन भनेको त विदेशी होइन, अरूबाट आयातित भए जस्ता भए। यो
आयातित प्राइमेरी
इनरोलमेन्ट आइडी
कीहरू,
चाहिँ
आयातित प्राइमेरी की अर्को टेबलका प्राइमेरी की, स्टुडेन्ट आइडी का प्राइमेरी की यो भयो, क्लास आइडी को प्राइमेरी की यो भयो होइन, क्लास आइडी क्लासको आइडी
इनरोलमेन्ट आइडी त यसमा त युनिक भयो, उताबाट आएन होइन,
यो चाहिँ आफ्नो प्राइमेरी की चाहिँ उसको यो
यो आफ्नै
टेबलको यो
भयो।
प्राइमेरी की भयो,
ओके,
तर यो दुईटा चाहिँ फरेन की
सो
भयो।
यिनीहरू चाहिँ यो इनरोलमेन्ट आइडी भनेको तिनीहरू भनेका फरेन की भनेका चाहिँ लाइक सेटमा चाहिँ इन्टरसेक्सन भने जस्तै हो होइन।
हजुर त्यस्तो इन्टरसेक्सन कुन चाहिँ कमन हो त्यही कसले चाहिँ गर्छ भन्ने कुरा हजुर हो। यो
हजुर
स्टुडेन्ट आइडी चाहिँ युनिक हुनु हो, क्लास आइडी पनि युनिक हुनु भयो नि त।
अँ,
त्यसरी यो इनरोलमेन्ट आइडीबाट चाहिँ इनरोलमेन्ट टेबलको यसको आफ्नै भयो, इनरोलमेन्ट टेबलको आफ्नै युनिक हुन्छ। यो चाहिँ उसको लागि फरेन कीहरू हो क्या, प्राइमेरी की अफ अनदर टेबल भनौँ न, यो स्टुडेन्ट र क्लास टेबलको चाहिँ प्राइमेरी की चाहिँ यसको लागि फरेन की भयो क्या, विच हेल्प्स टु युनिकली आइडेन्टिफाई दि डेटा अर इन्फर्मेसन। That is the keyword, right? What are these which helps to uniquely identify the data or values in the table is a foreign key. So you ID class 1 हान्ने बित्तिकै हजुरले class 2 जाँदै 1 त म्याथ आइहाल्यो नि त हामीलाई छ नि त इन्फर्मेसन हैन म्याथ 1 हान्ने बित्तिकै आयो अब यहाँ इन्टरनेट 2 हान्ने बित्तिकै क्लास आइडी के हो 2 भनेर हाल्ने बित्तिकै फिजिक्स छ हाम्रो युनिक छ नि त फेरि यो क्लास आइडी त युनिक छ नि त 2 भन्ने बित्तिकै युनिक इन्फर्मेसन हालेको छ नि त हामीले यो क्लास आइडीले यसरी गर्छ क्या यो यसरी यो चाहिँ फरेन की प्राइमेरी की युज गरेर इन्फर्मेसनहरू स्टोर गर्छ क्या अनि त्यही भएर एकअर्कासँग रिलेसन छ भने चाहिँ रिलेसनल डेटाबेस भयो क्या यो मैले धेरै टाइम स्पेन्ड गरेको सिक्वल पढाउनु भन्दा पनि किनकि कन्सेप्ट बुझ्नु हो भने अब भित्र गर्ने गुदीहरू त बुझ्दै गइन्छ नि त यो कन्सेप्ट बुझ्नु पनि सबैजनाले
हजुर
आज प्रत्येकजी पनि जोइन गर्नुभएको छ पछि सबैजनाले बुझ्नुभयो
बुझेँ सर
के क्वेसन छ हजुर सबैलाई क्वेसन के अहिलेसम्म पढाएको
अहिले छैन सर
हस् सबै दिलीपजी
ठिकै छ सर
हसन बुझ्नु पनि कन्सेप्टहरू त्यस्तो केही नयाँ त उता छैन नि बुझ्नुलाई कुनै गाह्रो यो एउटा एटलिस्ट एउटा आइडिया चाहिँ लिनु यो कन्सेप्ट किन बुझ्यो भने यति बुझ्नु यो अहिले पढाएको कुरा बुझ्नु भने अरू कुरा भनेको चाहिँ अब हुँदै गर्ने क्या गर्दै प्र्याक्टिस गर्दै जाने हो कि यो कन्सेप्ट चाहिँ बुझ्नु पर्यो क्या टेबल भनेको के हो डेटाबेस भनेको के हो जस्तै अब यो एक्जाम्पल यो मैले टाइटल नेम दिएँ होइन यो डेटाबेसको नाम चाहिँ भनौँ न स्कुलको नाम दियो नि त सिटिके भनौँ न ल सिटिके भन्यो होइन सिटिके भनेर मैले दिएँ अब डेटाबेसको नाम अब यो डेटाबेसको टेबलको डेटाबेसको नाम चाहिँ सिटिके भनेर भयो अनि त्यसभित्र चाहिँ यो डिफ्रेन्ट डिफ्रेन्ट टेबल्सहरू भए अनि डिफ्रेन्ट टेबल्समा डिफ्रेन्ट इन्फर्मेसन स्टोर हुन्छ क्या यो भनेको एउटा यो पनि एउटा एक्सेल वाज यो पुरानो टेबल भनेको यो पनि डेटाबेसै हो क्या सबै एक्सेलले पनि इन्फर्मेसन डिफ्रेन्ट वेमा डेटाबेसै हो क्या सबै इन्फर्मेसन स्टोर गर्ने एउटा फर्मेट मात्रै हो क्या बुझ्नु नि ल त्यही यो मेन त्यो कन्सेप्ट बुझाउन खोजेको थिएँ मैले अरू किनकि अब सबैहरूलाई अब डेटाबेसबाटै सुरु गर्नुपर्छ होइन यो कन्सेप्ट बुझाउने सिक्वलहरू त यो पछि स्याम्पल गर्दै जाने हो नि त तर डेटाबेस के हो रिलेसनसिप भनेको के हो कसरी हुन्छ एकअर्का रिलेसनसिप भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ बुझ्नुपर्छ क्या त्यो बुझ्नु भयो भने किन डेटाबेस भने 3 tier आर्किटेक्ट देखाए त्यही भएर सुरुमा यो डेटाबेस भन्ने कहाँबाट आयो के हो त भन्दाखेरि हरेक एप्लिकेसनमा डेटाबेस हुन्छ होइन यो सबै यो पनि बुझ्नुपर्छ कसरी किन डेटाबेसमा जान्छ डेटाबेस भनेको इन्फर्मेसन स्टोर गर्ने हुन्छ होइन त्यो सबै कुरा चाहिँ हजुरहरूले यो कुरा चाहिँ एटलिस्ट अब बुझ्नु पर्यो या त्यसलाई मनन गर्नु पर्यो कि वाइ हाउ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ बुझ्नु भने अरू कुरा त यो सबै प्र्याक्टिस हो होइन अब कसरी इन्फर्मेसन ग्यादर गर्ने कसरी गर्ने भन्ने कुरा सबै अब I'll just go over introductions today. So MySQL is widely used relationship database. So it's a type of database. Relationship database. It's free, and let's go to the introduction. Let's do. MySQL is very popular open source relational database management system, and why? Because let's say for an example, is an open source database. It's a relational database. First thing, it's open source, free, ideal for both small, fast, reliable. This is just MySQL. You don't have to go really. Nobody will ask you why this MySQL and stuff. It's just that understanding. So why they are, I don't know why they have asked it. Nowadays, nobody will ask you that kind of questions. Maybe some people will ask, but usually they don't do. Show data on your website. To build a website that shows the data from database, you will need a relational database server. So what it's saying is, if you want to use a database, you can just build a GUI, HTML, right? Whenever you build a HTML, you produce something out of it. Means HTML can be built easily. Means just the content, everything added. But if you want to, like, if you use 3-tier architecture, in 3-tier architecture means we are using the database, you are using the business logic, and you are using the GUI as a 3 separate entity. That means we are using 3 different aspects to build an application. So that is what, but what is saying is, if you want to use 3-tier architecture or 3-tier system with business logic and all this information, then you need a database. That's what it is trying to say. Okay. What is a relational database? I think I can spend a little bit more time on explaining this. RDBMS means relational database management system. Maintain relational database. It's the same thing. basic for all modern database such as MySQL, SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, Microsoft Access. So and this is saying that what are the basic of all modem for database system. All this database system uses the relational database management system, and a relational database uses the SQL query to access the data in the table. So that's what it's saying. SQL queries are used to access the data in the data table, and retrieve in the format you need to look into. Okay, what is database tables? A table is a collection of relational related data entries, and it consists of columns and rows. This is what I said earlier, and I think I already given an example. A column holds specific information about every record in the table. So how do you, what yes, already you know what is a column table. I don't have to explain table because I think most of you guys already know what is a table, what is a column and stuff. A record or row in each individual entry to exist in a table. That we already, I gave an example how the rows are entered in one of the sample I did. Look at the selection of the customer table. So they are saying customer table with information stored. So I give very small example. This is a little bit proper example, I would say, not very, very detailed how enterprise organization would use, but at least we'll have some information about it. Okay, so these are the columns, these are the customer ID, and we name all this information. So if you understand the simple concept that I demoed earlier and relation, this is just a bigger picture of what I did earlier. In my other earlier example, we have very simple example, very small table with different informations, classes, student enrollment. But if you go a little bit they can add more columns, right? They're just adding columns and more rows. That's all they are doing. But if you understand this concept, this is just the bigger form of whatever I explained earlier. But let me go to what is a relational database. A relational database defines database relationships in the form of tables. So this is what we already talked about. Kind of, I explained this. The tables are related to each other based on the data common to each. See, this is what it is saying. Data common to each, which is I already gave a little bit example of primary key and foreign key. So please read more about primary key and foreign key. This is very common questions in the interview. So primary key and foreign key is concept you need to read and learn and understand that. So look at the following three tables: customer tables, order tables, shipper tables from the Northwind database. So if you look at it is saying the same thing. If you look at customer table, right, it has a unique customer ID. And if you go to order table, it has a unique customer ID and shipper ID. If you go to shipper table, it has shipper ID. So if you look at the three relationships, see, order table have customer ID and shipper ID. It doesn't have the complete information you have to store in the order ID. यो किन गरेको भन्ने कुरा आउँछ कि किन यसरी एउटैमा किन राखेन यो अरू यो सबै अर्डर चाहिँ एउटैमा राखे भइहाल्थ्यो नि भन्छ किनभने जस्तै यो अर्डर आइडी चाहिँ यो कस्टमर 5 ले अर्डर गरेको छ अरे हैन एक्जाम्पल यहाँ अर्डर चाहिँ अब यो सबैले गरेछ नट नेसेसरी अर्डर 5 चाहिँ यो जस्तै अर्डर नम्बर 1 ले चाहिँ अर्डर नगर्न पनि सक्छ ए अर्डर नगरेकै रहेछ त 1 ले कस्टमर आइडी नम्बर 1 हेर्नुभयो अर्डरै गरेको छैन के त्यो हुँदा के हुन्छ नि मलाई चाहिने इन्फर्मेसन मात्र स्टोर गर्छ क्या टेबलले सरी एक्सक्युज मी यो 1 को चाहिँ अब यहाँ छ छैन यहाँ अब यो के भएर लेख्नु त यहाँ ब्ल्याङ्क छोड्नु भन्दा त बरु अर्को टेबल क्रिएट गरेर एउटा रिलेसनशिप बनाउन मिल्यो नि त अनि सिपर आइडी जस्तै हेर्नु भने यहाँ सिपरहरू मसँग 3टा सिपर छ यसले सबै युज गरेछ तर नट नेसेसरी सबै युज गर्छु भन्ने छैन नि त कुन बेला कुन युज गर्छु कुन बेला कुन चाहिँ रिलेसन इन्फर्मेसन चाहिँ जुन चाहिने इन्फर्मेसन छ त्यो मात्र स्टोर गर्नेलाई चाहिँ यो यसरी टेबल बनाउँछ कि युनिक बनाएर एउटा रिलेसन देखाएर ब्रेकडाउन गर्छ कि यो अनि त्यो हुँदा चाहिँ इजिली म्यानेजेबल हुन्छ कि सबै इन्फर्मेसनहरू त्यसको लागि चाहिँ यो टेबल जस्तै यो हेर्नुभयो भने कस्टमर आइडी 5 वटा छ फर्स्ट कस्टमरले अर्डरै गरेको छैन तर आइडी त क्रिएट गरेको छ नि त त्यो भनेको चाहिँ यो यसलाई भन्छ अब यो किन र कसरी युज गरेको रिलेसन कसरी आउँछ किन गरेको डिफ्रेन्ट टेबल डिभाइड भन्दाखेरि यो रिजनले गरेको के अब अर्गनाइजरमा अब इन्फर्मेसन थुप्रो हुन्छ अनि निकाल्न गाह्रो हुन्छ कि एकैचोटि गऱ्यो भने हस् अब let's do at least I hope everyone understood what I'm trying to explain here till now. Let's go to the okay, what is SQL? SQL is a standard language for
यो सर के भन्छ यसपछि एउटा यो थोरै ब्रेक लिने हो कसो
ब्रेक लिनु हजुर म यो के रहेछ भने मात्रै यसो हेर्न खोजेँ यो टपिकबाट कोडिङ मैले त सुरु गर्दिनँ यो लास्ट मात्रै पढाउन खोजेँ सिक्वल मात्रै बट यो बसी SQL is a standard language for dealing with relational database. SQL is used to insert, search, update, and delete database records. So what does SQL does? When we talk about SQL, SQL is structured query language is the language, programming language. And what did we do is, what is it used for? It is used for insertion of information in the table, search for the information on the table, update the information in the table, and delete the information in the table. So those are the, what can the SQL do is, these are the 4 actions you can perform in the table. So what it is basically saying is, in the same way, like, if I go here, this is already inserted in the table. Now I want to make sure that I want to update or update BA commerce. So spelling is wrong, right? What would be, say, commerce and or I'll say and management, or maybe I'll say here commerce, I'll say management. I updated the values in the table, right? That is what I did, update. I did update. Insert means if I want to add one more, it is invert. Now I will say adds, and there will be, this is insert. This is insert actions. Okay, insert means adds and management. Or say this is now adding, insert. That is means inserting the values in the table. Search means this is I cannot use search here. I'm just searching means it's a query to get only retrieve the information. Update means I updated the, like you saw the BA management, that's how updated. I can do it manually here, but in the database we have to use the query. Delete means I may have some wrong information, say 5, and I added some information, say wrong information. So, or maybe somebody means I want to remove it now. See, this is all information which is incorrect. I don't want the information, so I'll do it. Delete means delete the information. So what does SQL help you? All the actions I perform, 4 actions, will be done through the SQL. That is the SQL. Okay, so I think I will end here for the SQL. Maybe I'll just do select after this, and you guys will continue to, maybe next week I'll do a little bit more about the SQL. I'll go more detail into the SQL, and maybe I'll go few examples. I'll not go all. And second half we'll use. I'll just go over the select, and the second half you'll continue doing a final project. Okay. All right, let's take 10 minutes break now. All right, I'll break लो 10 मिनट फिर
Yes.
शुरू करना। हजुर आउनुभयो सबैजना?
हजुर
हस्। जस्ट अब डेटाबेसको पनि अब यस्तो हो कि कन्सेप्ट र त्यो आइडिया चाहिँ बुझेपछि अब पढ्ने कुरा चाहिँ आफै गर्नुपर्छ है। अब यो किनकि सिक्वल अब यत्रो जावा पढिसकेपछि यो गाह्रो लाग्दैन। जावा खान सक्नुभयो भने, जावाको चाहिँ मजाले बुझ्नु भएको छ भने सिक्वल चाहिँ गाह्रो लाग्दैन। यो स्ट्रेट फरवर्ड लाग्छ कि जावा पढिसकेपछि चाहिँ। जावै नपढ्नु भएको भए चाहिँ अलिक गाह्रो लाग्थ्यो होला होइन। अब जावै पढिसकेपछि चाहिँ यो त्यति धेरै गाह्रो लाग्दैन। यो किनकि यो के छ, यसको चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भने सिक्वलको चाहिँ कहिलेकाहीँ मात्रै हुन्छ यो यसरी पढे यस्तो ठ्याक्कै यही गर्यो भने यही हुन्छ भन्ने खालको हुन्छ कि सिक्वलमा चाहिँ। यो चाहिँ कस्तो भने यति पढे यही गर्यो भने यो गर्यो भने यही हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ अलमोस्ट कन्फर्म हुन्छ कि। त्यो चाहिँ अलिक स्ट्रेट हुन्छ कि। अनि धेरै त्यो कोडिङ जस्तो पनि गर्नु पर्दैन, त्यो अलिक एक्सपर्ट लेभल मात्रै, नत्र बेसिकमा चाहिँ अब पढेर एकचोटि याद गर्यो भने चाहिँ सर जे याद गर्यो त्यही हुन्छ क्या। यसको चाहिँ एकचोटि याद गरेर एउटा गर्यो भने त्यही नै हो क्या यसको तरिका चाहिँ। त्यो धेरै भेरिएसन्स हुँदैन क्या सिक्वलको।
हजुर
एकचोटि मजाले प्र्याक्टिस गरेर सबै जान्यो भने यो म्याथ जस्तै कि सर मजाले म्याथ गरेर चाहिँ सिक्वल चाहिँ आउँछ कि। मजाले प्र्याक्टिस गरेर सिक्वलमा चाहिँ एक्सपर्ट हुन सकिन्छ। मेरो स्क्रिन देखिरहनु कुन स्क्रिन हेरिरहनु छ हजुर? कुन चाहिँ सेयर गरेँ मैले?
हजुर त्यो एसक्युएल कै आछ।
ए हस् ल अब यो माई ट्राइड योरसेल्फमा गयो होइन। अब यो यसो यहाँबाट सुरु गर्छु। सेलेक्ट भन्ने भयो। लेट्स स्टार्ट द क्लास नाउ। सेलेक्ट. So when we say about four things, right? Insert, search, update, and delete. So for if you are just in the working as a QA or automation engineer, the most of the queries or whatever we write would be search. So what are we doing is because we are not responsible for inserting the data. Usually it should be through system like front. Like if you're adding, say example, we use so many logins, right? Like say example, if we look at here, no, not this one. Okay, my bad. So when we created an account, like say we did account in the Oracle, we did account into other system, right? We did create account in multiple places, right? So when we create an account into, how does the insert occur is through the UI, or you say GitHub. You created an account in GitHub means somebody, you inserted your information somewhere in some database. That means you inserted your information, login, username, password, first name, last name into the database in a system. That is a insert. Most of the application you use is a insert. If you do anything, that's you are inserting the information, means you are inserting in the database. Search means basically that is what we'll do. Most of the time, QA would be responsible for search. Update means sometimes it's also in an ideal case, it is done through again the front, either through the in 3-tier architecture, right? 3-tier architecture, how happens whenever we do some action in the presentation layer with some logic in the application layer, we go and update the database. So example would be if you want to input your first name, like if you some information you said would be like you want to say that instead of my name, I wrote some incorrect first name, right? Or I want to update my first name. Then I will go to the settings and I'll go update my first name. Then that is the update action. So when you update in the UI, in the presentation layer, in the backend, what happens is it will go and update in the database. So that your information would be updated in the database layer or database table. That's what happens in the real world. And delete means whenever you say, I want to get out of the Facebook, or I want to purge my Facebook, or you want to delete a photo from your Facebook, what happens there? It means you go and delete the information in the Facebook. So what in the Facebook database, whatever you store in the information, right? Anything you use in the online system means you are inserting or you are inserting your data or your information in some tables. If you think of right now how many tables you have updated, it could be hundreds till now, but we don't know what we use. We use Facebook, we use Gmail, we use Google, we use everything, right? We use everything like CTK. Here, if I use CTK, how do they know what my login information is? How do you see every time I input something, how do I get this information? Because it's stored in some database, some application, this whatever is server, this is launched, or whatever there is application is launched, there is a server. where this information is stored, means it has a database. So whenever you use CTK, this healthcare here.com means it has a own server, own database. CTK has their own database for this application where the information is stored, and that's how you get the information. So now if you look at this, I want to edit this SQL. Now this is I'm editing it, right, into to SQL DB. If I switch this means I updated some information, right? Or I click enter, means now updated the database. What happened is now if I refresh it, I see DB. How did I see this one? Means I updated the information in the database. So whatever database, whichever database is storing this, all this information is now updated in the database. So that is what you'll see as a updated. So means that is updated in the data. How do we update? Through the and system. So if you remember what are the information we add, we remove or something, we have done multiple still now. And if you look at edit, right, look here, there's a delete option also. See, delete means I'm doing it through UI, but internally what happens, there is a query or the either business logic layer will have a query where said whenever I click and delete, run the SQL query, or maybe there'll be another SQL query to go and delete the information from the database. Say this, when I click and delete, it will go and delete in the database. Okay. बुझिरहनु भएको छैन मैले सबै एक्सन्सहरु जुन UI मा गर्नुहुन्छ हामीले त्यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले रिलेट नगर्न सकेको मात्र हो कि हामीले सबै एक्सन्स परफर्म गरे हुन्छ, तर डेटाबेसमा कसरी काम गर्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ डेटाबेसमा के गरेको भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ नबुझेर हामीले गरे हुन्छ। यो जस्तै अब कसैले डिलिट गर्यो भने यो डिलिट बटन थिच्यो भने यो इन्फर्मेसन डिलिट हुन्छ। कसरी डिलिट हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यो चाहिँ सिक्वल क्वेरी हुन्छ, इन्टरनली सिक्वल क्वेरी लेखेको हुन्छ जसले चाहिँ इन्फर्मेसन या गरेर डेटाबेसमा डिलिट गर भने हुन्छ के हामी डे टु डे त्यो इन्फर्मेसन हामीले डिलिट क्लिक गरे रिमुभ गरेर डिलिट गर्न भन्छ। के डिलिट गर्नु भने कहाँबाट डिलिट कसरी डिलिट हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा क्वेसन सोद्धाखेरि चाहिँ सिक्वल क्वेरी चाहिँ जुन इन्टरनली बिजनेस लेयरमा लजिकमा बिजनेस लेयरमा लेखेको हुन्छ, जहाँ चाहिँ यसको डेटाबेस छ त्यसको बिजनेस लेयरमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ नि यो डिलिट क्लिक गर्ने बित्तिकै गएर डिलिट गर इन्फर्मेसन भनेर सिक्वल क्वेरी हालेको हुन्छ के त्यो चाहिँ बिजनेस
म फोनबाट जोइन हुन्छु है, मलाई एक्सेप्ट गर्नु है एकैछिन फोन गर्नु।
अरु कसले के क्वेसन गर्दै हुन्थ्यो भनेर कोही बोल्दै हुन्थ्यो?
म नै हो, मैले यहाँ गर्न खोजेको।
ए हस् हस्, अरु अरु कोही पनि बोल्दै हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई। हो र? ए हजुर मात्रै हो? ए ल ठिकै छ। यो हामीले एक्सन्सहरु गरेर आउँछौँ तर के गरेको भन्ने कुरा बुझेको हुँदैन के। जस्तै मैले अघि एडिट गरेँ हैन, अपडेट गरेँ मैले, त्यसपछि डिलिट गरेँ भने यहाँ किन डिलिट हुन्छ यो। मैले नयाँ हालेँ मैले, यसरी यहाँ गएर मैले एड रिसोर्स गरेँ भने इन्सर्ट गरेँ मैले। अब यहाँ यो टेबलमा कसरी इन्सर्ट भयो आफै आउँछ भन्ने त होइन नि त। अब हेर्नु मैले अब असाइनमेन्ट क्लिक गरेर चाहिँ मैले यहाँ अब हालेँ हैन, असाइनमेन्ट भन्ने हालेँ, मैले इन्सर्ट गरेर चाहिँ यो चाहिँ मैले एक्सन पढ्दैछु, रिड अबाउट एसक्यूएल क्वेरीज भनेर मैले हैन फ्रम डब्ल्युसी स्कुलको यो पठाइदिएँ मैले, प्र्याक्टिस भनौँ न, रिड एन्ड प्र्याक्टिस मैले यसरी पठाएँ यहाँ हैन। अब मैले यहाँ गएर यो मैले जब सेभ गर्नु भनेको मैले इन्सर्ट गरेँ। अब यो सेभ गरेपछि मात्र इन्सर्ट हुन्छ। सेभ ल हेर्ने इन्सर्ट भयो भनेपछि मैले के गरेँ भन्दा डेटाबेसमा यो इन्फर्मेसन इन्सर्ट गरेँ मैले अघि एडिट गरेँ, यहाँ गएर रिमुभ गरेर डिलिट गर्न सकिन्छ हैन। अब मैले एउटा एक्टिभिटी गरेँ हैन, जस्तै फोल्डर बनाएँ मैले, फोल्डर गरेँ मैले डे 2 डे 3 भनेर बनाएँ मैले, सेभ गरेँ, यो मैले इन्सर्ट गरेँ। अब डे 3 लाई मलाई अब डे 3 त छैन अहिलेलाई, त्यो डे 3 लाई कसरी गर्ने भनेर हटाउनु पर्यो। कसरी हटाउनु भन्दाखेरि यहाँ एडिटमा गएँ म, यहाँ मैले एडिट गरेर डिलिट क्लिक गर्ने बित्तिकै आर यु डिलिट भने इन्फर्मेसन सोध्यो, चाहिँ युआईले बनाएको यो कुरा हैन। यस गरेँ मैले हैन, डे हरायो। यो के भयो यहाँ डेटाबेसबाट इन्फर्मेसन के भयो डिलिट भयो भनेपछि यही एक्सन्स चाहिँ पर्फर्म हुन्छ क्या। सिक्वलमा चाहिँ यो भएको डेटाबेसबाट इन्फर्मेसन सबै स्टोर इन्फर्मेसनहरू डेटाबेसमा स्टोर छ भनेपछि मैले अहिले के एक्सन्स गरेँ भने इन्सर्ट गरेँ, सर्च भन्ने बित्तिकै मैले अब यहाँनिर यो डिस्प्ले गर्नु भनेकै सर्च हो। यो सबै कसरी आयो भन्दाखेरि इन्फर्मेसन कसरी आइरहेछ देखाइरहेछ, काहीँ न काहीँ त सर्च भइरहेछ नि त, क्वेरी काहीँ न काहीँ त क्वेरी रन भइरहेछ नि त सर्च। नत्र मेरो यो सिटी के छ भने यता अर्को किन मेरो इन्फर्मेसन देखाउँछ त, किन यहाँनिर अब अर्को कोर्सहरू हेर्ने ड्यासबोर्डमा गयो भने यी सिक्वल सुसिर पनि छ नि त, किन उसको इन्फर्मेसन देखाउँदैन, किन मैले गरेकै कोर्स देखाउँछ त भन्नुहोस्। यो इक्जाम्पल मैले भनेको चाहिँ उस किन उसले गरेको यो इन्फर्मेसन किन देखाएन, मेरो इन्फर्मेसन किन देखायो यसमा भन्दाखेरि मेरो फेसबुक चलाउँदाखेरि मलाई किन नेत्रजीको फेसबुकको फोटोहरू देखाउँदैन भन्दाखेरि किनभने आफ्नो हुन्छ क्या सबैको इन्फर्मेसन, त्यो क्वेरी लेखेको हुन्छ भित्र। सेलेक्ट गरेर मेरो चाहिँ यो क्वेरी चाहिँ के लेखेको छ जावा कोर्सको चाहिँ सबै इन्फर्मेसन दे मलाई भनेको के यो जुन कोर्सको नाम छ सेलेक्ट एस्ट्रिक्ट फ्रम जावा विवेक भनेर आएको छ त्यो क्वेरी गर्ने बित्तिकै सेलेक्ट एस्ट्रिक्ट फ्रम जावा विवेक भनेपछि अनि इन्फर्मेसन डिस्प्ले गर्ने काम चाहिँ अनि सबै इन्फर्मेसन कसै कता कता छन् कुन टेबलबाट छन् कसरी गरेर थाहा छैन मलाई बिहाइन्ड द सिन सबै इन्फर्मेसन मलाई ग्यादर गरेर दे भन्ने भयो क्या इन्फर्मेसन प्रोड्युस गर भन्छ त्यो चाहिँ त्यो इन्फर्मेसन रिट्रिभ गरेपछि यो प्रेजेन्टेसन लिएर कसरी डिस्प्ले गर्ने त्यसलाई भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ अब विक छ भने विकमा डिभाइड गर्ने यो क्लास भने एसाइनमेन्ट छ भने एसाइनमेन्ट डिभाइड यसरी डिभाइड गरेर यो टेबलको यो यसरी एउटा प्रेजेन्टेसन चाहिँ एउटा डिफ्रेन्ट लेयर फर्मेटमा प्रेजेन्ट गरेर देखाउने हो क्या हामीलाई यो सबै टेबलबाट हुन्छ सबै कुरा डेटाबेसमा इन्फर्मेसन स्टोर हुन्छ everything is working on the database system. Everything is a database. So just have that concept first, understand what you are doing, and then when you do the things, it will, at least if you know the concept what you're doing, you will not be overwhelmed with the information. That is what I'm trying to do here. So that when you go and play around with this, all the SQL statement, you will not be overwhelmed when you do that. You already understand what you are already doing. If you can relate it with the day-to-day activities, you won't be overwhelmed with this SQL queries and SQL information. Okay, so this is what the SQL is. Now, if you want to try, we tried it from the our application, like or a real-time GUI presentation. Now, what you can do is instead of GUI layer, you can also directly hit the database system. What I mean by directly hit the database system is you can bypass the GUI layer because there will be certain times you don't have the presentation layer to do the validation, or sometimes you will do through the application layer, sometimes you do through the database layer. So in database tier itself, you can do the queries, or you can query information instead of going through the presentation layer. You can go directly to the database tier or databases and ask for those informations. So I don't have the database for this model. If I had, I would have probably gone through there and given you some example of how to access, how to run the query and information, because this is not the system I store. But if you, there is ways within this model also, you can go and do this information, grab the information from model, and this all these tables. But for now, what we'll do is we'll just use whatever is in the sample for us. So for example, MySQL. So if you look at the tables, these are the different types of table names. Table names are the tables that store the information. And if you look at what are the different kinds of table, you can go. I already mentioned about some of the data structure, how the table is structured, and table is how these tables have correlations, how these tables relate to each other, how this table confirm what are the fields or columns within the table, what is the primary key. Is all information is stored here. If you go to the video later, I'll upload. You'll see this information present there, so you can go over this. Okay, to understand a little bit more, if you want to go a little bit detail into the information. Okay, and now what I'll do is I'll just now in order to retrieve the information, how does, like I said, how does information populate here is through the select query. So how does this different actions work? Now if you want, what is the what are the different kinds of actions you can put, how to insert, how to search, how to update, how to delete. If you want to look into this information, you can see what are these keywords for the delete. Like say for delete, there is a delete keyword. Update, there is an update keyword. Like if you look here, insert, there is a word insert into. See, these are the insert. So if you want to insert the information into the data table, you have to use insert into syntax, and this is the syntax and values. That's how you need to use to insert the information into the tables. So this is the syntax. So you have to remember this. What are this syntax? Insert into is the syntax, and practice with it. So what are the information you want to use? You want practice, and how does you insert into what table name? Table name, and these are the table columns, and what are the values you want to insert in the table value. This is the insert into, and this is the table information. Practice your own. You need to practice this on your own. Okay, I will not go over everything, so you have to do on your own for this SQL. And if any questions you come, you'll reach out to me. Second thing is search. How do we search? By in the table is through the select keyword. Select asterisk from customer table means when I do select asterisk from customer table and run SQL, it will give me all the information stored in the column in the customer table. So this is the select. How to get the retrieve the information is through the select keyword. Search is select. Update. How do I update the table? Is if you go to MySQL update, you will see the update. So update statement is used to modify the existing record in the table. So you are updating the information in the database. How to use update? You will give the table name. You will set what information you want to do, and column 1 whatever values you want to put, column 2 what values you want to put. That's how you're going to update. And where is the condition? If you have any condition, you will put in the condition where. So you will learn more about where.
So how do we select from here, like on this table? So
Table name is here,
an
update
example.
table name. Syntax. This is, if you look at syntax, table name, right? You will give the table name. Go ahead, you say something, please. Netharuji?
Hazur, hello, sir.
Yeah,
So
you
if
say
we
something.
want to select like the student from select the name of the student from Mexico DF means, then how can we do that? Like
You have
where
to, first you need
city
to
is
give the table
Mexico?
name, right? First you need to, that's a syntax. Update, table name, set. What you want to do, contact name, whatever contact name you want to update there, where customer, right now this is where it defines. So first what is the condition is, के हुन्छ भने कस्टमर टेबलमा गएर अपडेट अपडेट गर कस्टमर टेबल भ्यालुज के राख्छ भन्दा यो भ्यालु अपडेट गर कसरी आइडेन्टिफाई गर्नु कुन इन्फर्मेसन हो भन्ने चाहिँ कस्टमर आइडी चाहिँ जुन युनिक हुन्छ भने नि मैले रोल नम्बर 1 को टेबलमा चाहिँ गएर अपडेट गर भनेको के यो चाहिँ कन्डिसन चाहिँ यो नाम जे थियो जस्तै विवेक थियो भने विवेक नेत्रजीको साटो अब एक्जाम्पल अब सुस्मिताजी नम्बर 1 हुनुभयो नेत्रजीको नाम चाहिँ अपडेट गर सिटी या अब भनौँ न एक्जाम्पल सिटी अब हजुरले यहाँबाट चेन्ज गर्छ ड्यालसबाट अब कोपल जानु भएर सिटी अपडेट गर कुन भ्यालु स्पेसिफिक भ्यालु मात्रै अपडेट गर्ने सबै भ्यालु अपडेट गर्ने हैन कसरी आइडेन्टिफाई गर्ने कसलाई अपडेट गर्ने भन्दाखेरि कस्टमर आइडी चाहिँ हजुरको युनिक हुन्छ नि त भनेको रोल नम्बर चाहिँ 1 ले अपडेट गर भनेको के यो सिन्ट्याक्स गर्नुपर्छ अनि यो चाहिँ प्ले गर्नु भने आफै थाहा भइहाल्छ कि यो भनेको you have to play with these queries. You have to start looking into the queries. You have to update. Again, this is again you have to start playing with the queries, with the query and the tables, and see how it goes. It is pretty straightforward. If you look into this simple command, it is pretty straightforward. You don't have to मोड्नु पर्दैन क्या केही पनि जे भनेछ त्यही कुरा बुझेर त्यही कुरा चाहिँ गर्नु भने पुग्छ क्या सिक्वलमा चाहिँ सिक्वलको एउटा चाहिँ के भन्नु big advantage is once you understand and learn how to do it, that's how it is. You have to do it. You don't have to learn different hoops to do it. जस्तै यो अपडेट गर्नलाई यो अपडेट जानु भने अपडेट अब अलिकति सिन्ट्याक्स बेग्लै होला हैन ओराकल सिक्वलको उसको बेग्लै होला तर इफ यु नो व्हाट इज अपडेट यु क्यान जस्ट गुगल द सिन्ट्याक्स and you can always use the same way to update the database tables. हजुर क्वेशन मैले एन्सर गरे त नेत्रजी
हजुर हजुर
हजुर क्वेशन एन्सर भयो
हजुर
ए हस् ल
यता मैले यो किन बोलेको उ भइरहेको छैन म्युट पनि छैन सुनिरहेको छु
सुन्दैछु सुन्न अहिले एकछिन म्युट भयो थियो एकछिन कस्तो अड्केर आएको थियो ठिकै छ
ए हजुर
हजुर क्वेशन एन्सर भयो नि
हजुर
हस् ल next is update. So we did insert, we did search, we did update. Now let's see delete. How do we delete the information from the table is delete command or delete syntax statement they call it. Oh yeah, in the SQL server it is a statement, okay? Not command, it's statement they call it. So MySQL delete statement. Delete statement is used to delete existing record in the table. How do we delete is syntax. This is the syntax you need. Delete from table name where condition. So that is what you need to do. So these are the
delete means it's not going to be deleted from the database, right?
no, it
So
will
it's
delete
going
from
to
the
be
database. So you should never use this command anywhere unless somebody really tells you. If you are like 1000%, I don't know how that means. Never use this command in the real time unless you are playing around with it.
oh, that's what. So it's
Unless,
gonna go all, it's gonna take off, take all the data off from the even from the database, or
yes, it does.
right?
That is, it's a really, you should never use it unless somebody really wants it. So mainly nobody uses this command. Usually what happens is certain times they will not even give you read and write access. There are two access type. One is read, one
Right.
is write. Somebody will never
Right.
give you write access or they will never let you delete anything from there. Only certain person will have access, but some companies allow you to do it. So one time what happened is some guy got fired. कोही एउटा मान्छेलाई चाहिँ फायर गर्दैछ कम्पनीले गएर डेटाबेसमा गएर डिलिट फ्रम टेबल होइन डिलिट एस्ट्रिक्ट फ्रम एभ्रिथिङ गर्दैछ डेटाबेसको डेटाबेसै उडाइदिएछ टेबलै उडाइदिएछ डेटाबेसै उडाइदिनु पनि मिल्छ क्या डिलिट डेटाबेसै उडाइदिएछ त्यो भन्छ त्यही भएर त कति पछि भएर त के हुन्छ कति गाह्रो हो कति इन्फर्मेसन रिट्रिभ भयो त्यसलाई जेलै भयो के हो थाहा छैन होइन फायर गरेको मा त्यस्तो हुन्छ क्या त्यही भएर यो एकदम रिस्की हो यो हतपति डिलिट गर्नु यता हुँदैन डिलिट कमान्ड युज गर्नु हुँदैन तर अब प्र्याक्टिसलाई गर्दाखेरि यसो प्र्याक्टिसलाई मात्रै गर्ने हो कि खास गरी डिलिट चाहिँ अब जस्तै इफ यु वान्ट टु डिलिट सिन्ट्याक्स इज फ्रम table name customer where customer name equals to this. If you give this one, the whole customer would be removed from the table. So if you look at this example, this Alfred, right? The Alfred was the number one customer ID.
So what happens if we run it? यसलाई रन गर्न मिल्छ यसलाई कस्टमर एउटा मात्रै आउट हुन्छ हैन त्यहाँबाट
If you don't give everything, maybe you have to specify the condition. Where condition? If you don't give specify
Where
condition, everything
condition.
would be removed.
So that defines what to do, what to delete, right?
Right. The word customer name equals to first customer name, right? The customer name is this one. It's saying remove the customer name.
Alfred's.
Yeah, Alfred's for example. Or you can give customer ID also, like customer ID 1. You specify whatever you want. You can do that also. Just giving you an idea of what you can do. Okay. So these are the very basics of SQL that I wanted to introduce. And now, I mean, I would like everyone to go and start practicing reading. I mean, on top of your final project, capstone project, see where you are. And yeah, these are many, like you say Venn diagrams, right? These are Venn diagrams are joins. Basically, if you look at the joins, there is SQL joins diagram. If you look at joins in SQL, let me see. If you look at there's a really images would be really good images would be there. Like if these are the SQL, which is one of the most common questions in the SQL. So everyone have to do this, learn about what are the different kind of joins. So if you look at this Venn diagram, this is where you will learn left join, right join, inner join, left. Why is it? I don't know why he's saying two left join. Same thing. Oh, sorry. Unique left join. So if you look at this with the common, it will do left join with the common. If you do left join without the common, only A, it will give you both common inner. It will give you all B and what is common. It will give only what is with the B. What is the whole union? And this is the inner join. No, this is inner join. Sorry, my bad. This is inner join. This is full outer join. This is full outer join, and this full outer join where only the without the. I don't know why they put this one. This is not very important. Mainly it's left join, right join, inner join, and full outer join. Those are the four important of. I think this is one. Yeah. These are the table joins. How do you join the tables? How do you run the queries? You can practice. I mean, everything is within the SQL. Here you can practice. Like I'll give you example joins, right? Try it yourself. So this is already the same tables, right? All these tables are same. It is already select the joining the tables from inner join, outer, what is the condition you want to join. Everything you can run from here. See, it will give you all the joins. So what I'm saying is all the information are already here. Some samples are already present. Start reading and practicing. Because I'm gonna give very high level only. My role here is not to teach you how to teach you about SQL and SQL. My role is at least introduce you to the SQL so that and give you some concepts so that you तपाईँहरू चाहिँ अब गएर सिक्वल थाहै छैन सिक्वल भने के हो पढ्दै पढेर चाहिने कुरा रहेछ यो त भन्दै भनेन भन्ने चाहिँ होइन कि यो सिक्वलको बारेमा कन्सेप्ट र त्यो चाहिँ दिने हो अब प्र्याक्टिस र पढ्ने चाहिँ आफ्नै हो सबैको यो सबै है यो चाहिँ अब सिक्वलको त्यही हो यो क्लासमा चाहिँ हाम्रो यो कोर्समा चाहिँ मेरो सिक्वलको कोर्स होइन जाभा सेलिनियम हो मेरो चाहिँ तर मैले एटलिस्ट इन्ट्रोड्युस चाहिँ गरेको किनभने फेरि यसमा भित्र पढाउन थाल्यो भने त यो हेर्नु अब यसलाई नै लाग्छ 4-5वटा लेक्चरै चाहिन्छ मजाले बिस्तारै बसेर सबै कुरा डिटेलमा पढाउन जाभा जसरी पढाउन थाल्यो भने त यसलाई नै 4-5 हप्ता लाग्छ हैन यो यसरी 2 घन्टा नभए 4 हप्ता नलागे पनि अब सबै कमान्डहरू हेर्दैन बेसिक कमान्डहरू हेरेर बुझाएर सबै गर्न चाह्यो भने त लाग्छ पनि होला 3-4 लेक्चर हैन अरु 2-4 हप्ता 2-3 हप्ता अब यसको लागि चाहिँ अब आफै पढ्ने हो के मेन चाहिँ यति जाभा गरिसक्नु भयो भने हेर्नु जाभा राम्ररी पढेर बुझेर यत्रो मेहनत गर्नु भयो भने यो सिक्वलहरू यो एपीआई टेस्टिङहरू सोपीहरू चाहिँ गाह्रो हुँदैन के किनकि गाह्रो धेरै काम गरिसकेपछि अर्को सजिलो काम त त्यसै आउँछ जस्तै अब हजुरहरूले अब के भन्छ त्यो अल्गोरिदमहरू ट्रिग्नोमेट्री के भन्छ त्यसलाई नेपालमा भत्तेकै अप्सनल म्याथ हुन्छ नि अप्सनल म्याथ गर्छ अल्जेब्रा कसैलाई गाह्रो लाग्छ त नेपालमा अब यो के भन्छ त्यसलाई लिमिटहरु के भन्छ त्यसलाई कस्तो बिर्सेँ मैले त त्यसलाई क्याल्कुलस गरिसकेपछि हजुरलाई अल्जेब्रा गाह्रो लाग्छ त त्यस्तै हो क्या यो पनि अब यो क्याल्कुलस चाहिँ अब जावाहरु भनेको क्याल्कुलस हो यी भनेको अरु भनेको यो चाहिँ अब अल्जेब्रा हुन् के क्याल्कुलस गइसकेको मान्छे अल्जेब्रा त्यस्तो गाह्रो हुँदैन भन्ने मेरो चाहिँ धारणा हो है अब यो हेर्नुस् अब यति हो आजलाई मैले पढाउन खोजेको कुरा अब यो अलिकति क्वेसन छ भने हेर्नुस् अब अर्को हप्ता न त अलिकति भित्र जाउँला बेसिकमा हैन एटलिस्ट सिक्वलको अब अरु चाहिँ अब टाइम चाहिँ रेस्ट हाफ एन आवर चाहिँ अब के क्वेसन छ भने सोध्नुस् नत्र भने रेस्ट हाफ एन आवर चाहिँ अझै प्रोजेक्ट फाइनल प्रोजेक्टलाई काम गर्नुस् सबैजना मिलेर डिस्कस के छ हजुरहरुको त्यही गर्नुस् के क्वेसन केही छ हजुर कसैको हस् त्यसो भए खै कसरी कोर्स गर्नु ल अब डिस्कस गर्नुस् है फाइनल प्रोजेक्ट गर्नुस् प्रोजेक्ट चाहिँ गर्दै गर्नुस् त्यसो भए सबैजना मिलेर त्यो प्रोजेक्टको काम गर्नुस् त्यसो भए रेस्ट हाफ एन आवर चाहिँ हाफ एन आवर छैन अब त 25 मिनट बाँकी रहेछ हस् म यहीँ हुन्छु तर कोही क्वेसन छ भने चाहिँ सोध्दा हुन्छ कसैलाई के भन्नु छ हजुर सबैजना म्युटमा बस्नुभयो त भाइ
छैन सर